Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to stop that. So this is what I learned from Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom by Van Tharp. So one of the main concepts that he hit really, really heavy on was that you don't need a perfect entry to be a successful trader. I feel like a lot of us get caught up on getting that perfect entry when your entry only really accounts for 10% of your trading strategy. So he kind of explained it similar to video games. You just need a lot of opportunity to win. Um, sorry, but not exactly like the best entry or sniper entry or whatever. Right. So I'm gonna go over the main concept, and this is the stuff that's like really important when it comes to trading. So lesson number one is you have to find a trading strategy that fits. So I talk about this a lot, but trading is not one size fits all, right? So you have to cater your trading based on you and your trading personality. And you have to answer questions similar to the questions I have here. So how much money do you have to start with? What's your initial capital? How much time do you have to devote to trading? How much money do you need to make per year to feed your family? You have to trade or make your trading system or design your system around your character, your knowledge, and your current situation, right? So I have here examples of different types of traders. So these are 4 different people for examples. So we have beginner Ben, who is a senior in high school. He has $1,000 to start with. He has a job at McDonald's. One of his cons or the things against him it'll be difficult for him to do short-term trading, like trading that revolves around having, I guess, like a higher stop loss percentage, right? That hits stop loss more frequently and or entering more frequent trades because you have to think about commissions to brokers and stuff like that. But he's young, so learning the craft is more important than whatever profits he makes because he could take this skill with him for the remainder of his life. Then we have, I'm gonna go across. So Manager Michael. So Manager Michael has a huge account. He's also managing other people's accounts. So his pros commissions aren't really a problem for him because he has such a big account. But his con is he can't go on too many losing streaks because he's managing other people's money as well as his own. We have Software Sarah, who is successful in business. She's a mother of 3, but because of that, she only has an hour per day to dedicate to trading. But the pro is she could probably automate her trading. She could create like a software because she's good at programming to kind of make an automated trading system. So that's one of her pros. And then we have Bold Brandon. So he quit his 9 to 5. He knows that he needs 25K per year to survive. He has $200,000, right? So his pros, he has a lot of time to dedicate to trading. But his con is, he could be stressed and he has to manage those emotions of needing to live off of his trading profits. Right. So these are 4 different people. They're going to have 4 completely different trading strategies based on them as a person. So you kind of have to go through this list and kind of generalize yourself, like, what is it? Like, where's your starting point? What are your pros and cons? How much time can you actually dedicate? What session do you need to trade in? These are the type of questions you need to be asking yourself to design a trading program that fits around your needs. Lesson 2. So you need to know the notion of R, and R is the risk that you predefine before entering a trade, right? So the golden rule of trading is to cut your losses short and let your winners run. But if you don't know your predefined risk, it makes it very difficult to follow that golden rule because you don't know how much you're risking. So you don't know which ones to cut and which ones to let run. So always know how much you're risking before you enter in a trade. So here I have an example so you could kind of get used to seeing R. So let's say you buy in stock of Amazon. You buy 1,600, your stock's at 1,500. I know this is stocks, but the book is kind of based on stocks, so I went with the example. So your risk would be $100. So your 1R would be $100. Now let's say Amazon went to $2,000. You made $400. So your profit was actually 4R. You made 4 times the amount that you were risking, right? So this was like a good ratio trade. But this just gets you used to seeing things in terms of R, and R is your predefined risk. So now I have like an example for you guys, and it is which system is better. So the balls of marbles, they all have a different color. They represent a different ratio. So if I pull out a blue ball, um, that means that the profit would be 10R, right? Versus if I pull out like an orange R or orange ball, it would be minus 1R. So you see the two different systems, system A and system B. Um, just calculating the expectancy. So these are all out of 10. So that's just a bunch of math of adding them all together and dividing them by 10. It turns out that system A is actually the better system, even though you see a whole bunch of orange balls, uh, the wins are actually going to outweigh the losses, and the expectancy is 0.7. So it's actually a higher expectancy rate. Right. So this is just to give you like a visual example and to show you that even though you see all those orange balls, so they're all negative trades, this is still a positive trading system because they're still going to end up winning more than they end up losing. Right. So now lesson 3 is your exiting techniques. So you have to know that trading is not a marriage. You're not married to a trade. You're not obligated to hold out through every trade. Um, if you see something that goes along with these exit strategies, they're telling you to get out, just get out the trade. There's no need to keep holding on to a trade for too long, right? Your exits are actually way more important than your entries because you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And could you handle losing 10 times in a row, right? So there are some profitable strategies out there that have big wins but frequent losses. And so if you can't handle a strategy that has a lot of small losses, then you might need to alter your trading strategy, right? So 3 different types of exiting strategies. So percentage exit. So if this trade goes to 2%, 5%, you really don't want to do more than 10% of my entire account, then I'm going to get out this trade, right? It could be time based. So if this trade doesn't hit TP by the end of the day, end of this week, I'm going to close this trade. And then it could be based on volatility. You could see a lot of volatility going on and be like, hey, I'm going to get out the market because I don't like how this market is moving right now. So losses are just a part of the game, and expecting not to lose is like breathing in and then refusing to breathe out, right? You're going to lose when trading, but if you have the right strategy in place, I prefer percentages. That's just me, but to each their own. However, fits you. That's the strategy you want to stick with, and just be okay when you take your loss. It's just part of the game. Lesson 4 is opportunity. So expectancy, which is this box right here, with opportunity equals expectancy, right? So high expectancy with a lot of opportunities can be highly profitable in the long run. So we have the same 2 systems we saw before, system A and system B, with system A having the expectancy of the 0.7R, right? But let's say it only has 12 opportunities per year. The expectancy, you guys get that, is actually 8.4R, right? But when looking at system B, even though the expectancy is a 0.2, is 52 opportunities throughout the year. So it gives it a higher expectancy, actually 24% more than system A. Even though system A has a higher expectancy, it doesn't have as many opportunities, right? So the opportunity for the setup. And then lesson 5 is position sizing. So this is the most important part of the system. As it has as much impact as expectancy and opportunity, but is highly overlooked. People can be using the same trading strategy, but have different results based on their position size. Um, it's recommended to use a conservative approach of 2% risk per trade. But the position sizing, this could be the difference between financial freedom or trading yourself into personal bankruptcy, right? Even if you have the perfect trading system, if you're not using the correct position sizing, it's like impossible to see success. So I have examples for this too. So we have the 3 characters. So we have Stubborn Steve. Stubborn Steve, they all start with the same account, so they're all starting with 10,000. But Stubborn Steve is always going to risk $2,000 no matter what. So his R equals 2,000, right? So then we have Risky Rachel. She's just using a percent risk model, but her percent is 10% risk. So her 1R is 10% of her capital, so that's $1,000 initially. Then we have Conservative Charlie, who using the same percent risk model, but he's actually going to use 2% of his total capital. So that's $200 risk initially. Now we're going to use system A. We had that bag of marbles before, and we're going to draw random marbles out. We pulled out all 10, and now we get to see their strategy play out. They're using the same trading strategy, right? Same size account, but different risk. And you can see how Stubborn Steve was knocked out the game real quick after receiving, all those losses in a row. Then we have Risky Rachel and Conservative Charlie, right? So, okay, bet. Appreciate you. So you see how Rachel ended up with 29% growth, right? But you have to look after all those losses, she lost almost half of her capital before she actually recovered that, right? And then we have Conservative Charlie, who wasn't risking, too much of his account per trade, and he ended up with a 11% growth, after the end of the series of 10 trades. So even though Rachel got the most out of it, once someone loses half their account, they'll probably be like, oh, I'm done, throwing in the towel, right? So, but this goes back into the confidence of your trading system, right? Maybe Rachel was really confident in her system and she knew she would get it back. But most of us might want to follow Conservative Charlie's route, just gradual growth and, leaving room to hit a couple losses in a row, but it's not completely killing your account, right? Like the whole time, even though he was taking loss after loss after loss, he was not down bad before he started to get his profit when they finally got that 10R ratio. So I hope this kind of puts into perspective how important your position sizing is, and really just start to focus on your trading system. What is your checklist? What do you look for when you're entering a trade? How does it fit into your personality as far as like your pairs, your trading styles, all that good stuff. But that is it for this PowerPoint.